This is common subject for all. And while learning this subject, you might have observed the most of the facts were interesting, and almost each and every fact on a practical basis. Though it is from theory, but it speaks the present things, present facts. Did you experience this thing? Did you experience? Were we discussing international business economics? Were the practical facts? Did we experience this fact? Or it was just theoretical? What say? Yes? So most of the things were practical. And apart from your specialization, whether you are pursuing marketing management, financial management, or human resource management, you may be in any specialization, but you need to understand the business economics. And let me tell you, business economics, that doesn't change according to scenario, whether it is a domestic business or international business. The principles, most of the principles remain same. Only there are some changes in regards to the international business. But I can say 90% principles are applicable in both the areas, whether it is a national business or international business. So being a last session on international business economic, let's have a quick view. I mean, we will revise each and every unit so that there will be no doubt. So starting from unit number 1 and 2, let me start from unit number 1 and 2. Can you see my PPT? Can you see my PPT? Hello? Can you see my PPT? Yes, am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Can you see my PPT?
Yes, sir.
So this is in regards to the unit number 1 and unit number 2. Okay. Now, here it is about the business which covers complex field of industry and commerce, which involve activities related to both production and distribution. So not only production, but it also covers distribution, because reaching to the customer, that is very, very important. These activities, on the one hand, satisfy society's need and desires. On the other hand, bring profits to the business firm. So there is a win-win situation in business. At one side, you are satisfying the needs of society, and the other side, you are earning profit doing this thing. So that is known as business. And you will also agree with this meaning of business. Do you agree with this? Do you agree with this? Or is it something else? Hello? You agree with this? Because in business, We want to satisfy customer need. At the same time, we want to earn profit. So that is why it is business. Then international business. Any commercial transaction taking place across the boundary lines of sovereign entity. So any commercial transaction which happens between two countries, or maybe in multiple country. Either two country or multiple country. That is nothing but the international business. Then about economics. Economics, which is divided into micro and macro. So will anybody tell me what is micro? Any one of you will tell me what is micro?
Study of a smallest unit of business.
Yes.
Micro means study of small units and macro means study of large units.
Yes. So macro means study of large units. So macro covers aggregate study of economics, whereas micro covers specific study, specific, as you said, small, specific thing. So in economics, basically, these two concepts matters a lot, micro and macro. But in international scenario, we refer macro than micro. So macro economics management is very much essential in international business. Can you share your answer? Out of these two concepts, which is very relevant to the international business?
Macro.
Macro, MACRO. So macro is very much essential for international business. So macro economic management is required. Then characteristics of business, the features of business. Please remember this point. Maybe a general question is expected in the examination, general type of question about business, international business. So do remember these points, and on your own language, you can explain. Large size, because generally businesses in international, it involves large size. And when there is a large size, micro or macroeconomics comes then? Micro or macro?
Macro.
Yes, macroeconomics comes. And then second characteristic, it is oligopolistic character. Oligopoly means where two or more companies, they do business. That is known as oligopoly. When two or more companies involved in a market, that is known as oligopoly market. Example, automobile industry. We know there are hardly 25 to 50 companies who are into the automobile industry. We cannot say there are thousands and lakhs of companies in automobile. Can we say like that? In India, are there thousands and lakh of companies of automobile? In automobile? Hello? Another example, DTH. What is DTH? DTH, what do you mean by DTH? Hello? Hello? Can you hear me? Can you answer me? What is DTH? DTH? Hello? Hello friends, what is DTH? DTH? What it is? What is this DTH? I have typed in the chat box also. DTH?
Direct to home.
Yes, direct to home. So now direct to home, everyone knows direct to home. What we serve channels on our TV set. So that is direct to home. So there are hardly 20-25 companies who are into the DTH business. So this business is having oligopolistic character. hardly 20-25 companies are there, like say Tata Play, then Reliance, Dish TV, and so on. So you can count those companies and you can make a list. So there are sizable companies who are into the DTS business. So DTS is the example of oligopolistic character. Understood? What is oligopoly? Any doubt? Any doubt? And then third characteristic, the diversification. Once your business reach at a expected level, then that business goes for diversifying their business. Means they diversify their activities from one activity to another activity, from second activity to third activity. The diversification take place. And then once diversification is done, then everyone they develop thought that why not to reach our product at a global level, So this is also another. Then why should we study international business? What is the necessity of studying international business? So here I have listed basically this company, country of origin, a company which belongs to that country. And if it is a premium company, am I audible? So second one is overseas operation. Generally export and import. Either you are exporting your goods or services, and same time you are also importing some raw material from other countries. Maybe raw material or maybe technology you are importing. And the third factor, that is key factors, that is finance, HR, technology, material. So in case if you are in a right employees, so right employees, if it is not available in local market, then you may hire some employee from outside country. So it happens not only in India, but even other countries also. Other countries, they also hire our manpower. Like you might be aware, most of the Indian doctors and nurses are being hired by USA. Am I correct? Most of the nurses and doctors are being hired by USA and Gulf countries, Indian doctor and nurses. There is a demand for Indian doctor and nurses. Am I correct? Now, just observe this list. This is the world largest corporation. So here I have listed few companies on the basis of their business and the company belongs to which country. Now here you will observe that at number one position there is a Walmart stores. Basically the original country is United States of America and their business is 263 billion revenue dollar. $263 billion business they have achieved, Walmart. And there is also a company from Germany, Volkswagen, having a business of $93.60 billion. Then from China, Sinopec from China, and from India, Indian Oil is the company. So these are some examples of largest corporations. Now, this is the difference between domestic business and international business. Let me tell you a few. In domestic business, short term to long term. but in international, it is only long term. So this is the very basic difference between domestic and international. International businesses are for long term purposes. So domestic that varies short to long term. In domestic currency, domestic business, there is a single currency, whereas in international business, there is a multiple currency. So this way we can differentiate between domestic and international. Today, my aim is just to take you through all units. Already we have discussed in detail. So I will not devote much time on the discussion, but I would like to ensure you to make you aware of all 5 units. Okay. Okay. Then key factors influencing international business. These are the key factors: economic environment, social environment, and political environment. These 3 factors are very much essential for international business: economic condition, social condition of a country, and political condition. Unless and until these 3 conditions exist in an appropriate manner, no business can prosper at an international level. Then here I have mentioned what is economic environment. Economic environment which is based on GDP. Social environment which is based on the income of families, then literacy rate. Political environment, that is stability of political government, political party, not government, political party. Then this is about globalization. Now, globalization, it is not a new thing for all of us. It is one of the oldest thing. You may say it is more than 100-year old also. There were that time also there was a globalization. So it is not new thing. Only the shape of globalization has changed. Some new things have been added to the globalization. But let me tell you, this is not a new story. This is one of the old story. Even before independence, there was a globalization. There was a globalization. These are the forces of globalization. That is a capital market. Because of this capital market, now world has become a small village now. Then declining cost of transportation. Transportation cost has been decreased. Then growth in IT sector, particularly in last 2-3 decades. You all are witnessed that how information technology is being developed, and it is useful for the individual and corporate life. Then at a regional and international arrangements, for example, say GATT, General Agreement of Tariff and Trade, NAFTA, that is North American Free Trade Agreement. These were also useful for these international arrangements. And day by day, new things are entering into the market. Then WTO, World Trade Organization, which is organizing all abroad businesses. Then availability of cheap labor, particularly this is the feature of China and India. So availability of a reasonable amount of labor is there. And that is why in India, most of the IT companies are having business in India, or foreign companies are hiring Indian talent in IT sector. Then now this is about trade theory. In our syllabus, trade theories are being mentioned. So basically, Adam theory is not asked in your syllabus, but Ricardo theory is there. So Ricardo theory is also known as comparative cost advantage. Comparative cost advantage argued that cost relate to the trade between nations. So basically, Ricardo highlighted comparative cost advantage. Then Ricardo has developed some assumptions. Assumption number one: two countries producing same two commodities. Then how they can take advantage? Two countries producing same two commodities, but still they can have business. So Ricardo believe in this, that we should not get disturbed, that since there are two countries and having same commodity, so we cannot have business. It is not like that. Both countries can have business. So he has proved this with his assumption. Then wages determine the price. Whatever labor charge is involved, that determines the price. And if your wages are high, naturally the price will be high. So Ricardo believes that wages should be at a reasonable rate. Then no change in taste and preference of the people. So this is also assumption put by Ricardo. There is no change in the taste and preference of people. Preference remains constant and taste also remains constant. So no change in technology. Technology is also constant. So these are some assumptions were put by Ricardo. Then another author, that is OH. OH stands for Olin and Heckler. International trade by Olin and Heckler, known as HO model. He invented this theory in the year 1933. But even though today is in 2022 is also applicable. Almost now it is 92-year-old theory, but still it is applicable. Then it is most widely accepted theory, Olin and Heckler. Try to understand the last point is countries with more capital will produce and export capital intensive goods. Countries with more labor will produce and export labor intensive commodities. So labor intensive commodities like Ricardo, Olin and Heckler, they also have some assumptions of certain types of factors of production, how much they use. Then based on 2x2 model, two countries, two countries, two commodities, two factor of production. So there are two countries, two commodities, and two factor of production. Actually, there are three factors of production. Land. Can you share what are the three factors of production? One is land. Another is, second one is what? What are the factors of production? Anyone knows? Land, then labor, and the third one is entrepreneur. So basically, these are the three factors of production. But OS model is considering two factors of production. Transport cost is not being considered by OS model. Then full employment exists in both the countries. So both countries are having full employment to their people. You may not be agree with this assumption, but since it is quoted by OH, that is Olin and Heckler, we have to follow that. Full employment. Then, yes, please. Yes. Would you like to say something? Yes, please. Actually, इकॉनॉमिक्स मध्ये 3 आहेत, पण नाव वन मोर हॅज ॲडेड, दॅट इज एंटरप्रेन्योर. बेसिकली देर आर 3 फॅक्टर ऑफ प्रोडक्शन, बट रिसेंटली वन मोर फॅक्टर हॅज बीन ॲडेड. चौथा पण ऍड केलेला आहे, तर तुम्ही 4 पण लिहू शकता. पण ओएस ने किती कन्सिडर केले? ओएस ने किती कन्सिडर केलेले? ओलिन आणि हेकलरने किती कन्सिडर केलेले? फक्त 2. फक्त 2 फॅक्टर ऑफ प्रोडक्शन. तर तुमचा क्वेश्चनचा आन्सर असा आहे की बेसिकली देर आर 3 फॅक्टर्स ऑफ प्रोडक्शन, लँड, लेबर आणि तिसरं काय आहे? entrepreneur. So remember these 3. Okay. Then this is the comparison between Ricardo theory and Heckler theory. Comparison between Ricardo and Heckler. Ricardo, which is based on one factor model, म्हणजे फक्त लेबरच तो कन्सिडर करतो, आणि हेकलर 2 फॅक्टर मॉडेल, लेबर अँड कॅपिटल. एंटरप्रेन्योर हे कन्सिडर करत नाही. आलं लक्षात? हॅलो, समजलं का? हॅलो. तर हेकलर फक्त 2च फॅक्टर कन्सिडर करतो, ते म्हणजे लेबर आणि कॅपिटल, अँड नॉट थर्ड फॅक्टर इज नॉट. आणि रिकार्डो तर फक्त एकच, ते म्हणजे लेबर. लेबर कॉमन आहे दोघांमध्ये बघा, रिकार्डो आणि एचओ मध्ये लेबर कॉमन आहे, फक्त हेकलरने कॅपिटल घेतलेलं आहे. सो दिस वॉज द डिफरन्स बिटवीन दिस 2 theories. Then about GATT also we have discussed. There are some trade barriers in international business. Trade barriers, maybe there are some issues of charges that we have discussed. So I am just showing you the slides. याच्यामध्ये जर तुम्हाला काही स्पेसिफिक डाऊट असेल तर प्लीज मला विचारा, काही डाऊट असेल तर. Otherwise we will go to the important points. And let me tell you, these all PPTs I have shared with Harshali madam. So if you want PPTs, you can collect from Harshali madam. Okay. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
So I have shared all these PPTs with Harshali madam yesterday only. So those who are interested for PPTs, they can collect from Harshali madam. So today you just try to understand the important points, and then again you will have your own study. You may start at the time of examination, or some students might have started study also. Then after this trade barriers, non-tariff barriers. So non-tariff barriers, it goes through 3: quota, licensing, and health and safety. So particular quota is being given. Now tariff barriers, a levy collected on goods when they enter in a domestic tariff area, which is called as a DTA. When a foreign country enters in our country charges the DTA. And ad valorem duty is also tax. Ad valorem duty is also tax imposed as percentage of the value. Whatever the value of goods, on the basis of that value, percentage is being charged. Then specific duty is a flat tax regardless of value. So there is a specific duty charged. What is the value of that good? Nobody considers. Only the duty is being charged. So this is a difference between ad valorem duty and specific duty. Ad valorem duty, which is being charged on value, and specific duty, which do not consider value. particular tax is being charged. त्याला म्हणतो आपण स्पेसिफिक ड्युटी. कंबाईन्स अबाउट टू हे दोन्हीचं कॉम्बिनेशन याच्यामध्ये असतं कंपाऊंड ड्युटी. So basically there are three type of duties. There are three type of duties. म्हणजे one is ad valorem, then specific and compound. Got it? Got it? Then quota system. Here I have quoted the example that is textile quota called as a multi-fiber agreement. So this agreement we have with other countries, and through this agreement, the export business is being taken place. Then licensing, everybody knows that what is licensing. In our India, licensing authority, it is with state government as well as central government. So these both government issue licenses, and that varies business to business. Some businesses will have to take license from central government. Some businesses will have to take license from state government. And there are some businesses where you need a license from both the government, state as well as central. So this was about unit number 1 and 2. Now, it will take you unit number 3, that is foreign exchange market. Foreign exchange market. Now, this is the structure of the foreign exchange market. Basically, it is divided into 4 areas: retail market, wholesale market, primary, and was there any interruption? Net connectivity is stable or unstable? Hello? Net connectivity is stable or unstable? Hello? Can you hear me? Unstable. Yes, there are some issues with net connectivity. Anyway, can you see the PPT? Is it visible? PPT is visible?
Yes, sir.
So these are the participants in the foreign exchange market. Participants basically at 2 levels. One is the wholesale level. Wholesale level covers almost entire market, that is 95%. And hardly 5% it is with the retail level. As I give the example, the retail level means it is persons who are visiting like as a tourist, so that comes under the retail. So retail it is 5% and that 95 is business purpose. There are 2 types of currency market. One is spot market and the other one is forward market. What is spot market? Where there is immediate transactions expected and it is recorded on the second business day. That is known as spot market. Forward market, it is the transaction take place at a specified future date. So today you are making transaction for say 20th of April. So in the month of March, you are making transaction, you are deciding transaction of April. So that is known as forward market. Then participants by market, spot market where commercial banks, brokers and customers are involved. In case of who minimizes the risk, they are called as a hedger. So hedgers are who minimizes risk. And speculator means who are taking advantage out of the business. The speculation, that is speculators. So speculators are also playing important role in foreign exchange market. Then these are some spot quotations. From where we get spot quotations, these are the sources like the newspaper, major newspaper like English newspaper, maybe Times of India, Economic Times of India, Economic Times of India. So these are major newspaper in India we have. And there are some authenticated sites, websites are also available. From there, you can know the rates of currency. There are spot price 30 days, 90 days, maximum 180 days. Then these are some type of transaction settlement date. Settlement date and value date. The day on which transfer are effected. ज्या दिवशी आपण ट्रान्सफर करतो त्याला म्हणतो आपण सेटलमेंट डेट और व्हॅल्यू डेट. Settlement locations, the relevant countries. Suppose if you are making business from India to US, so these two countries are settlement location, India and US. Now Delhi location, the location of two banks involved in the trade. American term and European term. Basically, there are two methods. From the examination point of view, please do remember this direct quote and indirect quote, because the questions are expected on this topic. Direct quote and indirect quote. Now, what is direct quote? Direct quote which gives the home currency price of 1 unit. I have given the example. Now, for example, rupees 75 per $1. So when now here dollar is constant and rupee is variable. Rupee is variable. That is known as direct quote. Opposite to indirect quote, where rupee is constant and foreign currency is variable. That is indirect quote. Understood? Direct and indirect quote. समझ लगा? From the examination point of view, this is very much essential part. Look at this diagram also for direct and indirect quote. Everyone, please see this diagram. I already explained. समझ लगा? Direct and indirect quote. Okay, so this was about foreign exchange market. We'll take you to the fourth unit. But before fourth unit, one more part I would like to cover, that is bilateral and multilateral. Please do remember, bilateral means where two countries are involved, and multilateral where three or more countries are involved. Three or more countries, that is multilateral. Got the point? Bilateral and multilateral. Again, in MCQ, multiple choice of question, this is expected. Followed. Now let's go to the unit number 4. Recently we discussed about unit number 4, which speaks about the crisis, Euro crisis and Venezuela crisis. Now Euro crisis, a period when several European countries faced the collapse of financial institutions, and this is because of government increase with the loan, and rapidly rising bond yield spreads in government securities. So these were the reasons for Euro crisis. Please do remember what are the reasons for Euro crisis. Then causes of Euro crisis. The Eurozone crisis was caused by a balance of payment crisis. Basically, BOP crisis was the main reason for a Euro crisis. They could not maintain this BOP aims, and that is why the crisis happened in European countries. Second is, which is a sudden stop of foreign capital into countries that had substantial deficit. So this particular European countries face difficulties because there was a shortage of foreign capital into their countries, and they depended on foreign lending. Basically, because of this shortage of money, then they on foreign lending, reductions in the value of national currency, and ultimately their currency depreciated, means their value of their currency down. So was the cause. Among the countries which currently are in a prolonged recession are Venezuela, Sudan, and Lebanon, which are all expected to go into their fourth recession in 2021. Yesterday only I shared these facts with you. So I'm just I can revise this concept. Then crisis in Venezuela. Venezuela crisis. The crisis in Venezuela is an ongoing socio-economic and political crisis. Basically, political instability. I think this is the main reason. Socio-economic was also one point, but the more relevant is political instability. If there is a political instability, how a particular country faces so basically in Venezuela, the crisis in Venezuela has led to political instability. And because of this, about 94% of their population, which is in poverty. So this is very horrible for any country. Then almost 20% of Venezuelans, they have left their home, they have left their country, and they migrated to some other country. Now let us know the facts of Venezuela. Can you see my PPT? Can you hear me? Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
So these are the facts. The fact number one, years of economic and political instability. I have been repeatedly telling you that economic and political stability, it is very much essential for any country who is going for international business. Then more than 6 people, I told you that they have left their country just for the purpose of food, work, and better life. And this is happening right from 2014. Now, almost now, I think 7-8 years are over. From last 7-8 years, these people have been migrating from their country to some other country just to have food and work. Even they are not getting sufficient food. So this is the horrible situation of Venezuela country people. Venezuela continues to be a hotspot for food insecurity. Then another point, that is health. So their health system has also collapsed. And you all are aware that to have a good health system, a country have to have sufficient funds for medicines, for hospital, and for equipment. And Venezuela, since they are not having sufficient funds, so they are not able to manage the hospital administration. Then Venezuela has the largest proven oil reserves in the world. So this is a good thing for Venezuela. They are rich with oil reserve. But because of this political instability, in spite of having this kind of quality, because they are rich with oil reserve, in spite of this, they enter into this situation, and that is just because of political instability. Here in the last line I have mentioned, even Venezuela was number 1 as compared to Saudi Arabia in case of oil reserve. So that much prosperity they had. They were having that prosperity, but somehow they could not. So this is the chart of Venezuela crisis timeline. Here I have segmented in a particular year, 1920 to 1970. Between this 50 years of time, oil was discovered in Venezuela. So this was the good situation for Venezuela. They became the world's largest reserves. Then in 1890, this 10 years of time, all of a sudden, oil prices fall down, and then problems started with Venezuela. So this was the beginning of their problems, particularly between this 1980 and 1990. Then in 1998, Chavez became elected president, and he promises the country that he will use the oil as a wealth of nation, and he will try to increase the standard of living of poor. So that was a promise given by Chavez in the year 1998. Somehow in 2000, Chavez expanded social services. He worked for people, but corruption is rampant. But he could not control corruption. Chavez could not control corruption. And then it resulted in the decline in oil production, reduces oil reserve, and the government loan also increased. So government loan increased. Then in between this 2 years of time, 2010 to 2012, Chavez attempts at economic reform. Then he tried to go for some economic reforms, some new reforms during this 2 years. But again, this reform could not work. Churliza's currency devaluation continued. The prices were also very high. So the people, they faced. And then unfortunately in 2013, after having 14 years of rule by Chavez, he dies at the age of 58. And then in 2014, public spending is curtailed because of low oil prices. Naturally, they were not having enough money. Then government decided to curtail the public expenditure. And in 2020, everyone is aware because of this coronavirus pandemic spreads in Latin America, and then all borders were closed for Venezuela people. Everyone, they had closed their borders. They were not allowing outsiders to enter in their country. So in their boundaries also it happened. And then situation became very terrible. Now, this is because of last point of fourth unit, that is economic risk indicators for FDI and FII. The difference between FDI and FII, that is FDI, which increases GDP of a nation, and FII increases the money flow of nation. So please understand the basic difference between FDI and FII. I told you that FDI increases GDP of a nation, whereas FII increases money flow of a nation. Are you getting my point? Hello? So this was about economic risk indicators. And then yesterday only we discussed unit number 5. So this was our last unit number 5, international reserve. Basically, unit number 5's title is international banking. So international level, it was the need felt by each and every country that we have to have international banking. So who is the bank at international level? Can you share me your answer? Who is the bank at international level? Anyone, please? Which is the bank which is at international level? IMF, International Monetary Fund. So International Monetary Fund, IMF was created in 1944. In which year IMF was created? Hello? IMF was created in 1944. And through this IMF, country members have maintained the reserve. And these reserves are being used whenever there are problems with a particular country. Even India also had a problem of BOP issue, that is a balance of payment, in the year 1991. We had also approached to the IMF, and then IMF allowed us to withdraw our funds because it is our money. Okay, so there are 189 countries who are the members of IMF. So these countries are contributing in terms of gold and currency, and which is being deposited with IMF. And whenever there is a crisis situation, that time IMF gives you permission to withdraw your, because it is your money, so you can use. So this was about international reserve and how it is helpful for international reserve. So look at these advantages, how international reserves are useful for country. Go through this. And so this way we have covered all these 5 units of international business economic. As I told you, I have shared all these PPTs with Harshali madam. Anyone, if he is interested, they can contact Harshali madam and collect these PPTs. So with this, I declare that our syllabus of international business economics is being completed. In case if you have any doubt or query, you may ask, because still we have time. We can have discussion on your queries and doubt. Yes, please. Any doubt? Any query?
No, sir. No, sir.
Fine. Fine. So this was about international business economy from my side. I wish all sooner or later SPPU may declare your examination schedule. Maybe I think next month examinations will be scheduled by Savitri Philipur University. Whatever points we have discussed in last sessions, couple of sessions, and the PPT and whatever study material you have, please refer that study material and prepare for the examination. So all the best for you.
Thank you, sir.
I wish every success for your career as well as examination. Thank you all for attending online session and having your active participation, though it was online, but I must appreciate that there was active participation also.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.